Hey, it's Dr. Steve here again. I just want to make another video for you to demonstrate a problem that a lot of people have and why it may be not what they think, and that has to do with touching your toes. A lot of people complain that they can't touch their toes because they feel like their hamstrings are too tight. And in some cases, yes, that is true. And in other videos, like I have shown people like how you can determine whether or not you have true hamstring restriction or not. But what we're going to focus on is in the absence of one of those cases, that your pelvic position really does make a huge difference in your ability to perform a forward fold or like touching your toes or hip flexion essentially. So basically what we got set up here is a spine model and a kettlebell that's going to kind of act as the attachment point for our hamstrings. So what we're looking at here is kind of essentially where our hamstrings come off, which is from this sit bone back here like this, and then they run down the back of our leg and attach in the back of our knee there. So basically what will happen is I noticed that a lot of people have this anterior pelvic tilt, and what happens there is that our spine stays nice and upright, but our pelvis kind of tips forward here like this. And that's how we kind of walk and move about the world. And these people are usually the ones that complain that their hamstrings are always super tight. Because as you can see, as I do that, we start to get more tension in that green band there, which is acting as our fake hamstring. So what then they try to do from there is that they are stuck in this position here like this, and then they want to bend forward as far as they can, and their spine will only go so far, and they feel all of this tension in their hamstrings because they've come pre-loaded. So what we need to be able to do is to learn how to get our pelvis into more of a neutral position before we start to initiate flexion or even into a posterior pelvic tilt here like this, so that we can deload that hamstring group a little bit. Because you can see here kind of in this neutral position, as I bend forward like that, then we have some give in that hamstring before it really tightens up. And even more so if I go into this flexed position, then I can come almost all the way down here before we start to get that same tension load that we have even just standing here in this kind of anterior pelvic tilt. So I hope that demonstration kind of helps a little bit for you. Ways to think about that is just to start thinking about, where's my pelvic tilts here, so we can work on, getting out of this kind of anterior position, squeezing our hips through to where we're doing more of a posterior tilt, and then trying to find some place in the middle before we initiate that kind of forward fold. If you're still having trouble with that, or you're having pain when you're doing pelvic tilts, that can be indicative of some back problems that might be worth taking a look at. So if you have those, then reach out to me. We can try and get that figured out. Otherwise, just try and get your pelvis a little bit more involved when you're trying to do those forward folds or toe touches. And I guarantee you should be able to get at least a little bit further down your legs than you were before. Another thing that apparently works is reading sentences out of a book in reverse order. So just find a sentence in any piece of work that you got, read the words backwards, and you might be able to touch your toes then too. So that'll do it for the video today. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, as always, feel free to reach out to me. Until then, we'll see you next time. Take care.